when I get done delivering these papers. And of course, because we wanted tacos sooner than later, we decided we was gonna help Craig deliver the papers, right? And so we learned the power of we in that moment. But then the other thing that I learned from my cousin Craig is Craig was always coaching somebody. And Craig, even though he could have just, prepared one or two young people to play soccer or taught them to play basketball or football or something like that, he was more willing to teach a group of people to do it because he said that the group will be better as a result of that. And so I learned from my cousin Craig early on that doing things for a group and with the group was more effective than doing things individually.
That's what's up. Come on, Ty, what you think?
Man, I'm just trying to think. It's a couple of things I remember growing up. I think one of the ones that stands out for me is, man, y'all remember Walker School?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was the school for the gifted brothers and sisters from 485, 05, and other inner city zip codes. And I remember, man, when I first got picked, I was in the 3rd grade, like 8 years old, man. And the day before I was supposed to go, man, I just nutted up all in the classroom, right? And back then, you act like that, man. They sit you out in the hallway and said, wait for me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. There you go. Mm-hmm.
And so I went out in the hallway, sat there, man, 15, 20, 30 minutes, man. Then my teacher came out, and she did something, man, I never would expect it. She sat down right beside me, and she said, Todd, what's going on? And I was like, nothing. I'm still kind of hot. She's like, no, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't want to go to Walker School. And she said, why? And I said, because my best friend, Rodney Gibson, can't go. And if he can't go, I ain't going.
Mm-hmm.
And so then Miss Wilkerson, that was her name, man. Miss Wilkerson said, she looked me dead in my eyes and said, Todd, if you don't go, he'll never be able to go. And that just, man, for an 8-year-old, and she just dropped that on me like that, man. Now looking back, that was probably the best thing that happened to me to understand that sometimes, like you said, you got to walk this journey alone, but you walking it with the hope that others are going to walk it together with you later on. You see what I'm saying? So then the next year, man, it wasn't just me going to Walker School. It was Tracy Harrison going to Walker School with me. It was Stevie Johnson going to Walker School with me. Then I ran and got on this bus with this knucklehead Patrick McNeil, who was going to Walker School, right? And so, but just think about that, man. That's back, man, 78, 79, man. Here we are still hanging out together.
Mm-hmm.
If I had just not accepted that challenge she gave to me, man, I don't know where I would be right now.
Wow.
That's good. That's good stuff right there.
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff, man. And that's what this is about, gaining those insights and sharing those stories so that others can begin to see that sometimes you don't know how the path is going to take out. Sometimes you might shoot out early and you need to come back and bring somebody with you. Sometimes you need to walk it out so others can come behind you. But the goal is that sooner or later that people will come. And for that, I'm excited. So we talked about hindsight and we talked about insight. And after this next break, y'all, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about foresight. You're listening to The Front Porch. We'll be right back.
Oh, why? Because they want more pain.
In America, we all count, no matter where we call home, how we worship, or who we love. And the 2020 census is how that great promise is kept. Because this is the count that informs where hundreds of billions in funding will go each year for things like education, healthcare, and programs that touch us all. Complete the census online, by phone, or by mail. Shape your future. Start here at 2020census.gov.
And we're back, y'all, with The Front Porch, presented by the North Flint Neighborhood Action Council, Census 2020, and the Community Foundation of Greater Flint. Hey, so we've talked about hindsight and we talked about insight. Now, y'all, let's try to push this thing down the road. Let's see how we can push this thing out a couple of generations. So what is the foresight that we need to have and the things that we need to do to push this thing down the street?
Well, I'll chime in then. I say don't be afraid to share your opinion with others, because others can give you insight that you may not have thought of.
Okay. All right. I like that. Somebody else jump in. Come on, y'all.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and say I think the lesson for young people going forward is that everything is not about getting that shine, or everything is not about Instagram and Twitter, and everything is not about putting something out so that or TikTok. Everything is not about you getting likes. Right. At some point, you got to really put some time into thinking through what you're gonna do and who you're gonna take along with you. I love the story that Todd shared about his teacher and how his teacher said, if you don't go, then he'll never be able to go. You got to have somebody that's going to encourage you to think a little deeper about this thing. Too often, as when we are young, and I don't want to just say young people today, but because we all had the experience, we only think about the here and the now. And so we really gotta encourage young people to really think a little deeper about whatever that thing they're wrestling with, and spend some time thinking about the pros and the cons, and who does it benefit, and who do you want to benefit from what you're doing. Right? Maybe it's worth you thinking about it that way. If you want more people to benefit from it, then you got to think about what role will you allow them to play on the front end. And I know you deal with that a lot in your work with the neighborhoods, Patrick. You can go out and meet with somebody, but in doing that alone, you don't build the neighborhood's capacity. And that way, when Patrick's gone, then so goes the knowledge, the expertise, and even that relationship. So when you bring some other people along with you, then not only do you develop a relationship or you develop some experience, other people develop that as well.
Yeah, you have a legacy, and people can take hold of that legacy and build upon what you built upon, and it will, as we said, go farther if we walk together.
No, I'm gonna mess with y'all for a minute because I know I brought up Claudette Colvin, and I'm just gonna read something that she said in an article that she did with Newsweek in 1955. Well, later on in life, I'm not sure when the article was written. Listen to what she said. She said, "I felt like Sojourner Truth was pushing down on my one shoulder, and Harriet Tubman was pushing down on the other, saying, 'Sit down, girl.' I was glued to my seat." And I'm wondering if when we begin to allow people to get a sense about somebody who is cool with the skin that they're in and is willing to pour that into somebody else so that they can go further and farther, but that they can use the lessons that was gained from people like Sister Truth and Sister Tubman, that they can help you move and usher everything forward. Because it has, if only one person has the knowledge, when that person dies, it dies with them. However, but if you raise a community with you, if you raise others to come with you, then, and only then, can you sustain this thing called life and this other thing which they literally call death. Come on, Todd.
Yeah, I think we have to have a resolve that relationships are the most important thing in our life, right? In our family, in our community, right? That's first. You got to say, I'm sold out on relationships, right? And then if you say that, then I think you got to begin to say, how am I intentionally instilling that value in the next generation, hoping that it'll reach